Good morning, everyone. Shauna, the tax goddess. You know that I have thrown these terms around a lot lately, the PPP and the ERC. Now, sometimes that is called the ERTC, the Employer Retention Tax Credit. Now, what is this stuff? If you haven't seen our channel before, go back, watch the other videos, but let me give you a recap. PPP stands for Paycheck Protection Program. Now, this was put into place at the very beginning of COVID. And what the PPP program did was allow the government to give loans specifically for payroll purposes to businesses in order to help the businesses retain their employees. Now, when these two programs originally came out, they did come out together, the ERC and the PPP. When they originally came out, you had a choice. You could either take the PPP or take the ERC. You could not have both. Now, that has since changed, and that changed on December 27th of 2020 under the administrative signature of Trump, the ex-president. And the biggest thing that this means for you is that if you got a PPP loan, you can now also apply for the ERC. So you heard that correctly. You can have the PPP and the ERC. So why would you want both? What is the purpose here? The PPP loan, when you originally got the loan, it was supposed to be a loan. But after all of the hundreds of changes that have happened, effectively, that loan, if you follow all the rules, is forgivable. So basically free money. And on forgiveness is not taxable. So double free money, I guess. So you not only got the money to be able to pay your people, pay your payroll, but you did not have to pay tax on the receipt of those funds. It was literally free money. So that was the PPP program. Now, what is super cool is the ERC. The ERC, so generally there's a difference between a deduction and a credit, okay? A deduction, payroll, for example, is a tax deduction, which means when you spend the money, if your gross income was $100,000 and your payroll was a $50,000 deduction, then your net profit is $50,000, all right? So that's a deduction. The ERC or ERTC is an actual credit against taxes. So in our model here, if you made $100,000, you had $50,000 worth of payroll expenses, your $50,000 profit, you then pay tax on that money, right? So at whatever your tax bracket is, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 62% is the highest in the country as far as tax rates. So that the credit that we're talking about here, the ERC or ERTC, actually applies against your payroll taxes. Now, so this is 940, the form numbers, okay? 940, 941, this is where you normally are paying your payroll taxes on your employees. So in 2020, the ERC program is very different than 2021, and we've got another video covering those differences. But what I want to talk about today is the ability to have both the PPP and the ERC, and how does that actually work? So I want to give you guys a real live example here. We've got a client who's making about $600,000 a year gross, okay? His payroll is about $200,000 a year. Now, he got a PPP loan, all right? So his PPP loan was about $100,000. So when we're looking at the PPP loan forgiveness versus the same dollars that can be used on the ERC, okay? The ERC. So step one is you cannot use the same dollars for your PPP loan forgiveness as you are going to use for your ERC. Okay, very important. That's step one. Those dollars must be kept separate. So if he's got $200,000 worth of payroll and $100,000 worth of PPP loan, he's only got $100,000 left to apply towards the ERC credit. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to everybody, right? We started with $200 worth of payroll. $100,000 was for the PPP loan. The other $100,000 of payroll that was paid is still just kind of floating out here. All right. So that's step one, is do you have any dollars that are still kind of floating, not having been eaten up by your PPP loan forgiveness? Okay. There's a lot of little intricate steps in here. So as usual, guys, make sure you're talking to your CPA, talking to your payroll company, and talking to your tax strategist. Okay. If you have questions on this. So we're kind of going over a big overarching theory here. All right. So in this case, $200,000 worth of payroll total, $100,000 worth of PPP loan. We have $100,000 that's still left sitting out here. Now for him, okay, well, for anyone, you in 2020, your ERC credit was up to 50% of the first $10,000 worth of wages. Okay, so basically 50% of 10,000 is 5,000 per employee. All right, so at $100,000 worth of wages, he could have had 10 employees, right? 10 employees times 10,000 is $100,000 that was on this ERC money. All right, and that ERC money he can get back in his payroll taxes up to $5,000 per employee. So of that $100,000, he can get $50,000 back as a credit, an actual dollar for dollar credit against his payroll taxes. Okay, so there's a lot of other little tiny pieces in here, and we're not going to go into all the details on this particular video, all right? Because I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but make sure you're talking to your CPA, talking to payroll, talking to your tax strategist, because this is effectively another chunk of free money that you as a business owner have already paid your payroll taxes on your employees in 2020. And if you meet all of the qualifications, right, you can get this free money back. Okay, ERC, this is huge. So what are the actual qualifications? All right, so you must have paid somebody more than $1, okay? So the wages must be more than $1, okay? You cannot use the same funds for PPP and ERC, okay? In 2020, the maximum amount that you can get for the ERC is 50% of the first $10,000 of wages. Now, this changes for 2021. It's very different in 2021. But for 2020, all right, that's what you're looking at is 50% up to the first $10,000. This can, big asterisk, can qualify for the owner of the business as well. So if you took wages from your own business, W-2, if you're an S-Corp, this can qualify for you as well. So definitely be looking into that for yourself, if anything. Now, the question is, how do you go about actually getting your money back? Okay. Very first thing you need to do is run the calculations. All right. Do you have enough funds to get your PPP forgiveness? Do you have enough left over to get the ERC? If you don't have enough for both, which one is better for you, right? Should you definitely take the ERC and only get forgiven on 70% of your PPP loan? There's lots of questions in here. So definitely reach out to your CPA, who should be helping you run these calculations, your payroll company, who will need to amend the payroll forms, actually amend the 940 and the 941s to be able to get this money back for you. Okay, the payroll company is going to have to amend these forms for you to get that cash back, all right? And then, of course, talk to your tax strategist if you have questions between those two, your CPA and your payroll company. And of course, look at the big overarching picture. So what are you doing with your PPP loan? Has it already been forgiven, or are you still in the process of forgiveness? That's a key factor here, all right? So guys, there's a lot of different things to be looking at when you're looking at the ERC versus the PPP. But this video is really just to explain that you can, thumbs up, you can get both of them, both the ERC and the PPP. And that will allow you even more cash flow into your business to help you either stay afloat or, to be honest with you, continue to grow. A lot of people, thank goodness, are starting to kind of come back from the jolt of COVID. So thrilled to see it, and thrilled to see our business owners coming back to thriving. So if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, taxgoddess.com. Of course, you can book an appointment directly with me and my team. And if you have any other questions, you're welcome to put them here in the thread, in the channel, in YouTube, or in our Facebook group. And yeah, if you guys have anything else, any other topics, if you guys have any topics you'd like me to cover, please let me know. We'd be happy to do so. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.